In studio right now, we continue to take a look at election 2018 and the candidates who are running. And joining me in studio right now, candidate in the Republican Party for Justice of the Peace Precinct 2, Susan Rowley, joining us. Welcome back to the studio.
Thank you, Chad. I'm glad to be here. And go Red Raiders.
Yeah, big win. Big win last night over the Oklahoma Trae Youngs. That ESPN, that's all they did was talk about Trae Young the entire night, and Oklahoma lost, which was beautiful to see. Susan, tell folks a little bit about yourself and why you decided to run for Justice of the Peace Precinct 2.
Well, one thing I like to get out first is I am a lawyer, but I'm a nice one and I'm an honest one. So, I mean, if you can actually believe that, but it's true. I've been in practice for 20 years, and I really want to give back to the community. I ran once before for municipal court judge, which is the same kind of law. I'm not deviating in any way, shape, or form from my passion, which is the lower level kind of law. Tickets, Class C misdemeanors, those kind of things. And then with JP, you get the landlord-tenant, the small claims court, and all that kind of stuff. And I've experienced and have experience in all that as well. This is the kind of law that I started practicing from my very first job out of law school. I just love it because I can make a difference, and I want to make a difference from the lower level, especially with teen alcohol offenses and lower level criminal activity, Class C thefts. I mean, that's unbelievably important. So I'm of the opinion that first-time offenders, although especially the teenagers, they need to be read the Riot Act really hard. But I don't think necessarily that they should have something on their record for the rest of their life, and a criminal offense. I mean, second-time offenders, repeat offenders, yes, we're talking a different story. Yeah. But first-time offenders, no. And like I said, I think I'm perfect for the job. This is my dream job.
What is it about? You brought up teen alcohol. You brought up some Class C misdemeanors. What is it about those in particular that you think you would, I guess, make a change of or bring a change to that office for?
Well, right now, the Justice of the Peace in Precinct 2, they don't utilize a lot of the programs that Lubbock County has. One of them is dispute resolution. And in municipal court, which I have used it before for some of my clients, they have this tremendous relationship with dispute resolution where they send the teenagers along with their parents, and they go up there in the dispute resolution, and they figure out ways to try and punish these kids, whether it be doing community service, and usually it's 3 things, and they talk about it with their parents and with the coordinator of the dispute resolutions, whether it be writing an essay, doing community service, going to a class, or maybe some creative thing that the parents know that this child really needs help with. Wow. And it really is amazing. And then they don't get the conviction on the record, and they don't get even the deferred, which many people, unless you're learned in the law, don't realize that these alcohol offenses for teenagers have, even if you get it deferred, have a mandatory license suspension tacked onto it, which is very expensive, and it's tough. The DPS and Texas TABC, these laws on teenage offenders are very tough.
So what separates you? Because there are, I believe, a total of 3 people running in this race. What separates you from the rest of the field?
Well, I'm the only one with a legal background. I've been practicing for 20 years. I was listening at Lions Club the other day. We had the dean of the law school come in, and he was talking about how law school trains your mind, and you start to think like a lawyer. Well, most people might think that might be a little weird the way lawyers think, but it's necessary, you know? I mean, I know the law. I know the way the court system works, and for me, having that tremendous knowledge of especially this kind of law makes me, in the people's court, which the Justice of the Peace Court is often called, I have the ability to break it down to them. Make it more simple, in simple terms. And that's what I've always done with all my clients, whether I've been prosecution or defense. And I don't normally, with prosecution, you don't talk to a lot of the clients. But when I was a municipal court prosecutor, when I first got out, I had to talk with clients that didn't have attorneys. And and I'm still talking to my clients. And I am so simple in the way that I talk about it that they don't have any questions at all. I don't talk like a lawyer. I talk like a regular person to them, say, look, this is what you're having, this is what you got, and this is what you're looking at. And they understand and they appreciate that. And I treat everyone, no matter what they did or what they're charged with dignity and respect. And that to me is a very, very crucial part of the job, especially when you're dealing with the public and you're dealing with someone that doesn't have an attorney representing them.
Yeah. You brought up earlier that you have a passion for justice of the peace and the lower level courts. Why is that? What is it about justice of the peace that brings? Because it's probably something that, the average citizen, they never think about justice of the peace. They don't know what a JP does. They may not want to know. But it's one of those where you don't hear a lot of people who say, I've got a passion for being justice of the peace.
It's the one court, JP and municipal court. They're both the same type of crimes, but one's city and one's county. But it's the one court that most people are going to have activity in. I mean, there's not many people that get arrested for misdemeanors or felonies, which is great. But there's a lot of people that get traffic tickets. There's a lot of landlords that have to do evictions. There's a lot of people that have small claims issues. And so I want to be with the people because I want to help at the lower level. I want to stop the criminal activity from the lower level before it starts to escalate. I mean, I don't know if you know it, but the kid that shot the tech cop, he had a Class C and a Class B misdemeanor before that.
Yeah.
I mean, he never had to appear in court, but I think to myself, I have a psychology background. I think, my goodness, if I had someone in my court that had some issues that maybe I could have made a difference. Maybe I could have stopped him. Maybe I could have seen something. To me, that's worth it all. I mean, if I can change one or two lives in the whole process, then that makes everything worth it. Yeah. And I've done that in my career, but in felony courts, it's few and far between, although I do have some great success stories. I have some great success stories with misdemeanors, middle county court misdemeanors, but it's really, really down at the lower level where you can make a difference. And that's what I want to do.
You talk about, I know you've talked about your experience as far as being an attorney. On one of your flyers, you have it big and bold, experienced. One of your opponents talks about how they studied, I believe, studied JP law or justice of the peace law. Talk about that experience versus studying JP law.
One of my opponents actually put on his flyer that he studied JP case law, which there is no JP case law because the JP court's not a court of record. So and that's because you don't have to be an attorney because so many JPs, you have to have a JP in a town, but some of these towns don't have attorneys because they're so small.
Right.
But it is now becoming a trend in the bigger cities. If you look at Austin, Houston, Dallas, they're all lawyers because it's important to have a knowledge of the law. But that's why they've made the JP courts, because there are so few lawyers, it's not a court of records, which means if you don't like the outcome of what happened in whatever court, you can appeal it up to county court and start all over again.
Right.
So nothing was written down, nothing was done. So if the judge messes up, then you can start all over again. Of course, you think about the cost to the individual by having to take the case to upper level court, to the county court. And if they had an attorney, rehiring the attorney, or if they had, just all the filing fees and everything. I mean, it's really expensive.
Yeah.
We want to get people in that know the law now. And I've known the law for 20 years. I'm not going to come in and say, oh, well, I'm going to learn as I go along, because I don't think that's the way that judges should be.
Visiting with Susan Rowley, Republican candidate for Justice of the Peace Precinct 2. Susan, how can people find more information about you before early voting starts?
And early voting is starting less than a week away.
Yeah.
Wow. If you go to Facebook and look up Susan Rowley for JP2, I would love for you to go check out my Facebook. And I have my cell phone on all my flyers and everything. So if anybody has any questions, they want to call me or text me, 806-438-5297. Bring it on. Any question you have, I'll be happy to explain it or explain the whole process of Justice of the Peace and why it's so important to everybody in our community.
Very good. Susan, thanks for stopping by today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You take care.
You too.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, to you as well. Chad Hasty Show, KFYO.